If you want to be rich, you do what rich people do. If you're trying to lose weight, you don't listen to a fat person on how to do it. If you're trying to make money, you don't listen to a poor person on how to do it. You got to look at what rich people are doing. Are rich people buying shit coins? Are they buying Elon Doge Cummy Rocket? Like, no. They're buying Bitcoin. And that's it.
Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance.
Bitcoin is still Bitcoin and always will be. What we're seeing at the moment with Digital Currency Group, they're being investigated by a number of US government departments. It doesn't look good. Explain what the Greyscale trust is now. So at the moment, you could buy a share in that company that is a reflection of your ownership of Bitcoin, but it's trading at a 50% discount right now.
The reason that is occurring is because it's technically a derivative. Its value is derived from the company holding Bitcoin. So in a perfect world, the shares would be an equal value of the holdings of the company. But because it's a derivative, it's a piece of paper, it's a share of stock in the company. It's not a share of Bitcoin. Because it's a share of stock in the company, what we're seeing is people don't care. On the institutional side, people have so little interest in holding Bitcoin that the market is really, really flat. And they have even less interest in holding a company that holds Bitcoin. So it's not selling at a discount. It's just that is what the market is saying the value of a company that holds Bitcoin is.
I guess the question here is, have these investors lost faith in Bitcoin, or have they lost faith in Barry Silbert and the Digital Currency Group, which are investors in about 150 companies in the space?
I think what the market is saying more clearly is there's way less demand for a share of stock in a company that's only value is holding Bitcoin.
Yeah. So we're coming back to this same point again that I pray people are finally understanding that these are centralized entities. You know, we've seen this with FTX, straight up fraud, no different to Bernie Madoff. We've now got the Winklevoss, the Winklevi, who have posted an open letter to Barry Silbert, and in that they have accused him of commingling funds. Now, this is what screwed FTX. So my concern here is obviously when you've got players like the Winklevi, who from day one were the guys talking to regulators, they just operate at that sort of tier of American society, calling out one of the biggest players in the space. This is looking pretty fucked. I think the next couple of weeks we're going to see fireworks. Look, final capitulation is here for me. Putting a positive slant on this, I think people are finally going to wake up to what Bitcoin, blockchain, and much of crypto has always promised. You know, it's money you control. It's freedom of speech ultimately. But instead, we've relied on these centralized entities, and they have just let us down one after the other. And I think the next domino to fall is going to be Genesis, which is a trading company closely associated with Digital Currency Group. The main point of contention here are these intercompany loans between those two businesses. So you've got Genesis that's filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They've got, I think, $1 billion, just over $1 billion in a loan back to DCG. So this is all getting very, very ugly here at the moment, people.
They're playing the traditional finance rule book, which is, as long as there's a paper contract of somebody owing somebody something somewhere, you can rehypothecate the value of something.
Yeah.
And what that means is, you're running a fractional reserve in a zero debt system. This doesn't work. It's never worked. It's never going to work. So there's a clash between the traditional ways of doing things and the new way of doing things. And the new way of doing things has no debt.
Yeah.
So anytime we hand over this no debt system to a central authority that is used to using the debt system, they fuck it up. So, it's unfortunate. And, for those of you who have been in crypto, maybe a few years and maybe this is your first cycle, yes, it hurts. I get it. But I can say that this is just pushing us in the right direction. It's not taking the approach that many of us want, because obviously you don't want to experience paper losses. But it's, revealing the problems of the traditional world. And if we are able to create platforms, decentralized exchange, decentralized lending, decentralized borrowing, and have it, trustless, because that's what blockchain's about. It's about removing middlemen in a way that you can trust the other person. If we can do that, which is what we should be doing and we should be focusing on, it's, nothing but number go up, because it's a new system that's really going to take over.
Of course, as long as you believe crypto will continue, regardless of how painful it is now, then obviously all you got to think is, we can make it as long as we survive this bear. But it also reminds me of like a couple of years ago, in between bull markets, let's get rid of all the weak hands and then move forward. Now it's like, forget the weak hands. Now we got to get rid of these much more dangerous and problematic entities,
Really good point. It's time for a clean out.
Yeah. We've had a lot of it.
We have. I mean, the SEC have, so far, there's been cases that they've brought and ended in prosecution. So, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the crypto space at the moment that are, might be a little bit worried, about their behavior. But, I just want to keep coming back to that point that, Bitcoin is a very, very different thing to the rest of what we've seen go on here. Ethereum is very similar to Bitcoin in that it's a protocol, it's an infrastructure. So I still see massive opportunities here to make a huge amount of money investing in infrastructure plays. So Bitcoin and Ethereum just remain some of the best things that you could put money into, in my opinion. Not financial advice.
How could you explain, there's this clown, this Mad Money guy. I don't even think he does Mad Money anymore, but...
That's Jim Cramer.
Jim Cramer.
Yeah.
I just saw someone asking him very recently, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin? And he went straight to scam, it's a scam.
I did not go to college to get stupid. These people who own these things should not own them. They shouldn't own them.
It makes me wonder, in 2023, this guy's clearly educated. He knows about economy and all kinds of stuff. Clearly, he has a dog in the race. But does he genuinely think it's a scam? And do you think that's legitimately his actual...
I don't think so. I think anybody who's that high up in the public space, especially when it's, put on mainstream media outlets, they're given an angle to take. Whether it's forced upon them or what they know they need to do to hold face with the company.
Right, not get fired.
Yeah, exactly. So he's probably just, this is what I know I need to say. This is what I'm going to say.
The perfect rat.
And, it's a lot of people out there. This is why you have to do your own research and come to a conclusion on your own. Nobody has the answers, but the more research I do specifically on Bitcoin, the more it becomes a no-brainer to me. A lot of people are losing faith. A lot of people are thinking, well, shit, maybe this is a scam, or maybe it's not going to work out. The more I look at it and the more I see what's happening and the more I see the products that are coming out, the more convinced I am. This is not going away. It might go down. It might not go up for several years. It might take a decade before it really, really catches on. But it's not going anywhere because it's the better product, and the better products always rise to the top of the market.
Calling Bitcoin a scam, I'd love to hear his rationale behind that.
You could poke holes in that all day long. There's nothing that anybody could say to me, at least, that I wouldn't have an answer for. Doesn't mean that my answers are correct, per se.
But it's your answer.
But it's my answer, and it's what I believe. And all the arguments that I hear that Bitcoin is a scam, I think can be argued.
Bitcoin has no unique value at all. It doesn't produce anything. You can stare at it all day and no little Bitcoins come out or anything like that. It's a delusion, basically.
So, really understanding the infrastructure, what's actually been built here and where it's currently at. I mean, we've got EIP 4844, I think it's called. That's the next sort of cab off the rank for ETH, which will increase transaction speed by about 10. The layer 2s on ETH, I've always been a bit 50-50 on that, but seen some huge companies partnering with Polygon at the moment. So, smart money is buying infrastructure. Look, all these other wonderful altcoins that sit on top of that infrastructure and promise the world, look, in a bull market, everyone's a genius and you can make a fortune on those. We're not going to see that for a while. So, smart money at the moment will buy infrastructure at the right price. For me, you're our trader, Baloo, so I'll throw that over to you. When's the bottom for BTC and ETH, in your opinion?
This is a very common question. When will the bottom be in? And the only thing that you can pull on for an answer like that is historical data. So historically speaking, we're going to likely see a bottom of some kind in 2023. We may already be at the bottom. Fundamentally speaking, it doesn't look promising that we're already at a bottom, but I think technically speaking and historically speaking, we're likely to see the bottom in 2023. For me, I don't care about the bottom. You're never going to catch the bottom. You're never going to sell the top. It's all about making money with the meat in the middle. So what I need to see is several months, ideally a year. I would love to see 2023. I know this isn't one everybody wants to hear, but if we trade sideways between, 10 and 20,000 for all of 2023, the bottom's in. And I don't care that I'm not buying the bottom, but once we leave that range in 2024, 2025, I'm buying and I'm going to make a lot of money. Because it doesn't matter. You're going to waste so much time, energy, and just you're going to waste your soul trying to find the fucking bottom. It doesn't work like that.
In 2023, you might want to learn how to grow some vegetables. That might be their best call.
Yeah.
Find the bottom of the dirt in their backyard and plant some tomatoes.
I mean, look, another interesting thing that I'm seeing, a lot of sort of friends and family have maybe thought I've been sitting on a beach for the last year doing nothing. Man, I've put a huge amount of energy into understanding macroeconomics, really digging deep into both political and philosophical aspects of what's going on. A lot of top analysts at the moment are calling for a 3K gold. A lot of energy seems to be heading in that direction. And I still think that at this stage of Bitcoin's evolution, for me personally, I'm just comparing it to gold at the moment. Once we get these layer 2s and it becomes more of a currency option, etc., great. And there will be awesome investments picking these companies that are actually building on Bitcoin. So a couple of things here. You got to understand you've got Bitcoin, the network, and then you've got Bitcoin, the asset. Well, they are kind of two different things. If you own some Bitcoin, you're effectively owning a part of that network. Now, gold going to 3K, for me, would be great for Bitcoin because I know for a fact smart money is now understanding, okay, we get it, digital gold. It's easier to move around, less friction. And the issue with gold is partly the issue that we've been seeing with Bitcoin for the last 2 years, with all this paper Bitcoin that's been built on top. So as you said before, with
IOUs, paper Bitcoin.
Correct.
Yeah.
So a lot of that's getting cleaned out now. BlockFi's gone. So interestingly, the actual holders of Bitcoin, long-term holders, those wallets have gone up. So smart people are not selling. I think we're going to see a lower Bitcoin price, in my opinion, just because you are still got that retail investor who's maybe holding some and just going, oh my God. And unfortunately, I think we're going to have some oh my God moments in the next month as we see Genesis go down, possibly DCG go down as well. So, buckle up, people, but, now's your time to really understand, what the actual infrastructure that's already there, where it's at, and what's coming next. So I think, the buying opportunities, this isn't all doom and gloom. I've bought nothing for a year, but I'm now starting to lick my lips going, okay, wouldn't it be great to pick up an ETH at $600, a Bitcoin at 10K? I'd be putting everything I have into those assets at those prices. Not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing.
The gold comparison is an interesting one because for centuries, ancient civilizations used gold. Actually, every major empire that's ever existed started with gold as their currency. But gold is not perfect. It's good because it's scarce. It's good because it's fungible. People want it. It has value. But it's not divisible and it's not portable. And there's other, things that.
And what happens if somebody finds a whole heap of it somewhere?
Exactly.
I mean,
right.
We don't have that problem with Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's not, truly scarce.
Yeah.
So the gold thing is a fun comparison, but the whole point of gold is you built empires off of the back of that money. You built the Chinese dynasty. You built the Roman Empire. You built the Dutch Empire. You built the English Empire. You built the American Empire off of the back of gold. But it got to the point where it wasn't good money because it wasn't portable and it wasn't divisible. Now we have a better money. So if throughout the centuries, we've been able to build substantial empires off of the back of a good money, and there's no reason to ever issue a fiat on top of that, who knows what can happen if the Roman Empire never fell and it was still the Romans ruling the show and they've had thousands of years to develop further.
Yeah, there's so many variables that are happening in the past decade, 2 decades, whatever, in this century, but especially now, of technology changing all of the game of everything, and everything becomes different than the last entirety of humanity is totally going to be different and is different. And I think that's the main thing to think about when you have people predicting what's going to be happening this year, predicting how Bitcoin's going to, how anything's going to go. It seems almost futile when you consider how much has changed in the last 6 months. Forget just a couple of years. How much has changed in the last 6 months? AI plays such a huge role in all of this, not just because AI with Aladdin becoming the best trader machine in the world, which does over 65% of the trading, but also how AI affects humanity, which there in turn affects how humanity interacts with each other and with money itself. Because what happens when either AI gets so smart that it starts figuring things out for us, and then is that either used or suppressed? I mean, it's like if an alien spaceship comes crashing down in some barren part of Pennsylvania, is the American government going to go, great, we can use this to save everyone and make a very good, abundant life? Or do they hide it? What about AI?
Artificial intelligence, if it does become, if it does achieve true machine learning, it might just look at the world from a very objective point of view and be like, well, it actually makes sense. Let's just buy Bitcoin.
Well, how
we shouldn't be using fiat.
I assume AI, especially nowadays, AI is 100% controllable and censorable.
And it is.
And for instance, I was using this, what is it called? Chat
GPT.
I used Chat GPT today, and I said, write a rap song about Elon Musk. And it wrote a rap song about Elon Musk. But then I typed in, write a rap song about Hunter Biden. And it said, we're unable to do that because it would be inappropriate and misinformation is dangerous, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I thought, it basically said, listen, my mom taught me that if I don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything nice at all.
Exactly.
I'm thinking, well, listen here, AI, sounds like you don't have anything nice to say about Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Interesting. How come you had everything to say about Elon, but you can't speak about this guy?
Yeah, there's definitely positivity filters on it, but that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't say write a bad one.
Yeah, because ultimately AI is still at the, it's still whoever
it's not
programmed
think.
it to put
It's
it out
reasoning.
there.
It's reasoning through an algorithm that it's been trained to do, but it's,
So it's still the people
it's
behind
still a
it
robot.
and the data sets that they're giving it.
Yeah.
So I think all of our, initial visions, I definitely know it was yours. You and I were doing this back in 2016. These Bitcoin meetups were I knew very little about money at the time. It's been such an education being in this space just to really understand the big picture here and how screwed it is overall. But, ultimately our message for years was trying to get the everyday person to own some Bitcoin. The reality, if I look at who's buying now, the link that I've got below to that podcast I mentioned with the AI guy, go check him out and see what he's up to in this space. It's the ultra high net worth individuals that are buying Bitcoin. They get it, and I think we'll see those institutional players once they're wrapping their heads around it a bit more. We're going to see banks custody it for customers, etc. So, I think the future for Bitcoin is very, very bright. I think the future for Ethereum is also extremely bright. What muddies the waters right now are these centralized companies that are built on top of that decentralized infrastructure that are making anybody in crypto look like a freaking idiot. So, yes, of course, everything has its seasons right now. It's winter. It's a shitstorm. But there's centralized players that have come in and taken the piss. So, it's just market cycles here.
Follow the money. If rich people are buying, if you want to be rich, you do what rich people do. If you're trying to lose weight, you don't listen to a fat person on how to do it. If you're trying to make money, you don't listen to a poor person on how to do it. You got to look at what rich people are doing. Are rich people buying shit coins? Are they buying Elon, Doge, Cummy Rocket? Like, no. They're buying Bitcoin. And that's it.
Don't ask mainstream media what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is the other hilarious thing. If you look at the media in the crypto space, this company, The Block, they got 20 million from Sam Bankman-Fried. CoinDesk, which is where I would always go and scan for crypto news. That's owned by Digital Currency Group. So even check this article out. It's on their website talking about them getting investigated. It's just, what the hell is going on here? Mainstream media, once again, is probably even worse. So, the beautiful thing is, I don't know, I'd love your opinions on this, but it seems to me that YouTube seems to be loosening up a little bit on what people are allowed to.
Maybe it also seemed worse during the epidemic or whatever you want to call that, because their tensions were high, their focus was laser. Essentially, has changed pace and strength. That we see a lessening of their intensity.
Quick question on this. Maybe I've just seen the headlines, but they're talking in terms of this new AI chat. I'm going to get the name wrong again.
What was it? Chat GPT?
GPT, yeah.
But they're saying this is like a massive threat to Google?
Oh, 100%.
So explain.
Why would you? Well, because when you Google something, you're asking a question.
Yeah.
You're wanting to get to the answer of something.
Right.
So instead of Googling and sifting through articles to find the answer to your question, you just ask ChatGPT and it will sift the entire internet and give you the best answer.
Yeah. I just can't help but think that it's like a Pandora's box situation.
100%.
And in that regard, it's not even up to humans, really. I mean, there's that, what is it, the point of no return where, and I don't know if that's where we are yet, but
I think we're getting close.
It seems like it. And at that point, it gives me a strange feeling of hope, like knowing that there'll be something, in a sense, smarter than us, with power. I kind of like that, because we're too stupid.
What I'm seeing from AI, I think it's called AlphaGo. This guy was the head engineer at Google for AI. Amazing individual. But his big thing is all this protein folding.
Protein folding is one of these holy grail type problems in biology. We've always hypothesized that AI should be helpful to make these kinds of big scientific breakthroughs more quickly.
It's just gone through the roof. What was taking 5 years for a PhD student to study just 2 different proteins interacting. Now they can do 1 million in one day. So the advances in I think the day of going along for a 10-minute talk with your doctor are going to be gone in the very near future. It'll be a prick of blood. The AI will tell you exactly where you're at and what you need.
100%.
So for me, the future is hugely positive. I think the challenge for us is to maybe start looking at how AI is going to integrate with what's happening in crypto. Yes, we're a crypto show.
Yeah, I think you bring a very valid point as far as things to look forward to, because medical advancements are going to get crazy.
Yeah.
What I genuinely believe is that we're seeing a lot of people, especially people with a great deal of money and power. I have this feeling like they know things are going to get better.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck.
Yep.
Like, we have to take this time that we have left to steal as much as we can from these people. We're not going to have much time left.
Right.
Like, we're not going to be able to do all of this that we've been doing, that our generations of people have been doing. It's just scheming, scamming, and robbing. I feel like they're trying to get in as much as they can now before the time is run out, and they can't.
Just maybe sort of wrapping up on the crypto front, unfortunately, just one more bit of bad news. The other thing you need to be aware of is there's the main crypto bank, which is a US registered bank. It's called Silvergate. Their share price is down by 80%. There's been a run on the bank there.
That's connected to Circle, is it not?
Yeah, it's an issuer, a big issuer of Circle. I don't know the sort of the ownership structure there. I don't believe they own equity in the actual company. But the fact that there's a run on the biggest crypto bank at the moment is a bit of a worry. So, depending on how the US regulates things, I think we'll see similar banks pop up in other countries. So I'm not overly concerned on that front. But look, it's going to be a wild ride this year. So, we're going to do our best to bring you decent commentary, across. I think across the tech space, I think everything's coming together at the moment, really, isn't it? Especially with AI. I don't think you can really talk about finance without talking about biology and pretty much everything else at the moment. It's all converging.
Well, there's huge advancements, intelligent, brilliant, genius breakthroughs, and a storm of stupid, and they're going to hit.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that creates, but
Yeah.
you would assume that, just logically speaking, the intelligence storm will win just because it has to.
I know a lot of people have probably lost all hope, but look, keep watching the show. We'll keep you ahead of the game, people.
We promise the next episode will be a little bit lighter,
Yeah.
because I bet you there's going to be great news next week. I promise.
I want to look at these different AIs. I think that'll be a really fun show.
I'm down.
Let's do that. So if you're interested in that, you want to learn, this guy's been well ahead of the curve on that one. Tune in, subscribe.
Turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a second.
Yeah, go fork yourself, huh?
Go fork yourself.
Go fork yourself, go fork yourself, go fork yourself,